I used to walk into rooms where conversations paused. Not because I was loud, not because I demanded attention, but because my last name carried weight. My family's estate had been in our name for 3 generations. Old money, old power, the kind of influence that doesn't need to shout. And my friends? They loved me for it. Or at least, I thought they did. It started with a call. Short, clinical, brutal. A legal dispute I didn't see coming. A signature from decades ago. A technicality buried in paperwork. By the time I understood what was happening, the estate was gone. Everything tied to my inheritance, liquidated, transferred, settled. Just like that. I remember sitting in my kitchen, staring at the marble countertops I grew up around, and feeling like the walls were closing in. But the real loss didn't hit until the invitation stopped. At first, it was subtle. Sorry, babe, it's just a small gathering. Oh, I thought you were out of town. We'll catch up soon. Soon never came. Then I saw the posts. Private dinners. Rooftop parties. Weekends in the country. All the usual faces. Just not mine. And then, one night, I overheard it. Leona. She didn't know I was standing behind the half-closed library door. She's nothing without that inheritance, she said, swirling champagne in her glass. Let's be honest. The only reason anyone tolerated her was the estate. Laughter. Soft. Sharp. Confirming. In that moment, something inside me didn't break. It crystallized. I didn't storm in. I didn't cry. I didn't confront her. Because power isn't reclaimed through noise. It's rebuilt in silence. So I disappeared. Not publicly. Not dramatically. I simply stopped showing up. Stopped liking posts. Stopped attending events. Stopped being available. And while they were busy celebrating my downfall, I was watching. Taking notes. Who actually held influence in the city? Who was tired of Leona's social monopoly? Who felt excluded, but didn't dare challenge her? That's when I met Isolde. Isolde Grange had once been the most sought-after hostess in our circles. Sharp, calculated, unapologetically intelligent. But she'd stepped back years ago. People said she'd become eccentric. Translation? She stopped entertaining shallow people. We met for tea in her townhouse. Quiet, book-lined, deliberate. She didn't offer sympathy. She offered strategy. They believe influence is inherited, she told me, folding her hands calmly. But influence is curated. I asked her one question. How do you build something stronger than what you lost? She smiled. You don't rebuild. You redesign. That's how House Levier was born. Not a club. Not a party circuit.
A salon. Private.
Invitation only.
No social media tags.
No public guest lists. Just a curated gathering of women who actually moved things. Editors. Tech founders. Policy advisors. Venture capitalists. Cultural curators.
No influencers chasing relevance.
Only women creating it. We hosted the first evening quietly. Candles. Music low. Conversations intentional. No one posted.
But everyone talked.
By the third gathering, the waitlist existed. By the fifth, people were asking Leona why she wasn't invited. That's when the shift began. Leona thrived on visibility. But visibility without substance fades quickly. Her events grew louder, flashier, desperate. Meanwhile, House Levier remained quiet. Strategic introductions were made. Investments launched. Collaborations formed behind closed doors. A fashion line funded. A media platform acquired. A policy think tank quietly backed. And my name? It resurfaced. Not as an heiress. As a connector. As a gatekeeper. As someone who decided who entered the room. The first time I saw Leona look uncertain was at a gallery opening. She approached me with that same polished smile. I've heard about your little gatherings, she said lightly. Little. I tilted my head. They're not little, I replied softly. They're intentional. She laughed. Too quickly. Well, visibility is everything. I held her gaze.
No.
Value is. And for the first time, she didn't have a response. Over the next few months, the decline was subtle, but undeniable. Her guest list shrank.
Her posts got fewer likes.
The brands that once courted her began partnering with women from my circle instead. The women she dismissed? They were now decision-makers. And House Levier? It became untouchable. Because exclusivity isn't about luxury. It's about access. And access was no longer hers. The final moment came at brunch. Ironically, at the same restaurant where Leona once declared I was nothing. She invited me, publicly, a performative gesture to show there was no bad blood. I went, not for reconciliation, for closure. The table was long.
Familiar faces.
Nervous smiles. Leona raised her glass. To old friends, I let the silence stretch before speaking. Funny thing about rooms, I said calmly. They feel permanent until the foundation shifts. She stiffened. You used to believe this was your world. I continued. But the truth is, this room was never yours.
No shouting.
No drama. Just reality. Because power doesn't argue. It informs. Within weeks, Leona stopped posting. Her online presence thinned out. The invitations she once relied on dried up. And no one replaced her. The world simply moved on. As it always does. People think losing everything is the end. It isn't. Sometimes, it's the audit you didn't know you needed. When I lost my inheritance, I thought I lost my identity. But all I really lost were people who mistook proximity for power. House Levier still meets. Still quiet. Still intentional. And now, when I walk into rooms, conversations pause again. Not because of my last name, but because of what I built after it was gone. If you ever find yourself excluded, underestimated, dismissed, don't beg for a seat at the table. Build a better one. And make sure the door locks from the inside. This wasn't the only time someone tried to count me out. I've shared other stories. Stories where silence changed everything. If you're building in the shadows too,
Subscribe.
there's more coming.